In 1989, Jua Kankan had just signed an agreement to leave the TTE team at the end of the year. Nevertheless, the Finnish driver flew through the Australian outback to secure the Celica ST165, its first WRC win. Despite the wins, the ST165 did have its issues. It constantly struggled with keeping the engine cool, and there were issues with transmission and differentials overheating. The ST185 Celica made its competition debut at the 1992 Monte Carlo Rally, but was immediately outpaced, with driver Carlos Sainz finishing over 2 minutes behind Didier Auriel in the winning Lancia. From its launch in 1992 to its final appearance in 1994, the ST185 went on to achieve 15 WRC wins, making it the most successful individual model in Toyota's rallying history. One of the keys to the success of the ST185 was a decision to delete the electronics that played the ST165, controlling the centre differential and run it in a locked configuration. Though it made the car more prone to understeer, the handling became more predictable, and the victories flowed in New Zealand, Spain and Britain, with Carlos winning his second and final World Drivers' title with Toyota before leaving, when Castro joined the team as the new lubricant sponsor, delivering that iconic race livery that we all know today. By the end of 1993, it was obvious that the pressure at the top of the sport was increasing, and a shock move, Lancia stopped its official WRC activities altogether, and the threat from Subaru was beginning to be felt with 3 podium finishes during the season. 1995 Group A was going just as planned for Toyota, with win after win. Between each race, every car was thoroughly inspected to make sure they were legal, which the Celica GT4 was passing with flying colours until the Spanish rally in Catalunya. This was the only event standing between TTE and its 4th consecutive championship victory. When it came time for a routine restrictor plate removal and inspection, one eagle-eyed scrutineer spotted a hairline fracture so discreet that they had to have been looking for it to notice. The restrictor plate itself was completely legal and up to spec. However, once the restrictor plate was installed and tightened into place, a set of hidden elastic washers would compress to open a half-centimetre gap bypass between the restrictor plate and the turbo intake. Although this seems like a meagerly sized bypass, it was capable of drawing a substantial amount of atmospheric air that granted the Celica an additional 50 horsepower over a completely legal setup, when most teams were restricted to around the 350 horsepower mark. Scrutineers deemed it illegal and stuck by their words even when Toyota lawyered up, resulting in the team being stripped of their points, being given a 12-month ban from the sport, and expulsion of the 1995 championship. If this had not have happened, we wouldn't have had the iconic Colin McRae victory in a Subaru that sparked a whole other generation of competition. The FIA president Max Mosley at the time said this: "Inside it was beautifully made. The springs inside the hose had been polished and machined so as not to impede airflow which passed through. To force the springs open without a special tool would require substantial force. It is the most sophisticated and ingenious device either I or the FIA's technical experts have seen for a long time. It was so well made that there was no gap apparent to suggest there was any means of opening it." The company experienced significant growth well into the 21st century, with innovations such as the first mass-produced hybrid-powered vehicle in the world, the Toyota Prius, in 1997. In 1999, Toyota was listed on both the London Stock Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange. The company continued to expand into new emerging markets. For instance, targeting younger buyers with the launch of its Scion brand in 2003 and unveiling the world's first luxury hybrid vehicle, the Lexus RX 400h, in 2005. However, the company subsequently faced significant financial challenges, plummeting sales stemming from the global financial crisis of 2008, as well as international safety recall of more than 7.5 million vehicles total in 2010, of which approximately 5.2 million vehicles for a pedal entrapment / floor mat problem, and an additional 2.3 million vehicles for an accelerator pedal problem.
2009 Tacoma pickup truck. The gas pedal can get tangled up in the floor mat, causing the vehicle to speed up. Outside San Diego last summer that killed 4 family members.
Our accelerator's stuck.
The family's horrifying last moments captured in this 911 call.
We're in trouble. There's no brake. We're approaching intersection. Hold on. Pray. Oh, shoot.
At the beginning of 2014, millions of vehicles manufactured by Toyota and several other car companies were also recalled by regulators in the United States because of the potentially malfunctioning airbags produced by Japanese automotive parts supplier Takata. The recall was the largest and most complex comprehensive safety recall in United States history.
Moisture from humidity leaks into the airbag's inflator, changing the properties of the chemical used to inflate the bags. When this happens, the explosive force can rupture the metal casings, sending shrapnel flying through the vehicle. Why this is happening officially is still not clear.
Further financial issues ensued, with Toyota having to pull the plug on the Scion brand in 2016, only 13 years after it was formed, claiming that youth buyers are in a completely different position than they were 13 years ago. Bob Carter, Senior Vice President of Operations for Toyota Motor Sales, told Automotive News, "That's really what's driving this decision. The cars that were being built to be Scions in the future lineup got a rebadge back to Toyota along with the current models. Today, the Toyota Group has many subsidiary companies under its belt, and assembly plants and distributors in many countries. In addition to automotive products, its subsidiaries manufacture rubber and cork materials, steel, synthetic resins, automatic looms, and cotton and woolen goods. Others deal in real estate, prefabricated housing units, and import and export of raw materials. They are a global powerhouse that has a net worth of approximately $236 billion US. And that is it, essentially, for Toyota's history. If you liked the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.